Alright guys, we're getting ready to do part 3 of the hexagon tank. I was corrected on that one. Anyway, and I'm glad somebody did because they were right. But anyway, we're going to put the gravel in this, and I've already started. So I've already run my air line and my bubbler. I was going to glue that down with silicone also, but I didn't want to have to fight with it when I was to ever have to replace it. As it is now, I can just move the stone or the gravel away from it, lift it up out of there, pull it apart, put a new one on it, lay it back down, and put the gravel back on it if I ever have to replace it. If I glue it down with silicone, that means I'm going to have to scrape it, and it's going to make a mess in the tank. So it's best to just leave it lay there. And I've run it through all those eye hooks that I put in here, and I've even added one. I'll show that to you. See, I just siliconed. Well, that thing didn't go on very good. I didn't squish it far enough. Good thing I caught that while it was still wet. Anyway, I put that there to hold this, hopefully. Yeah, just like that. But I don't want to put it in there and have it pulling on it while it's drying, so I'm waiting for it to dry completely. That way I know it ain't going to come off the wall or the glass. Alright, so I've started putting my gravel in on top of that. And as you can see how neat that hose is. And it's all hidden behind the pump head, from the front anyway, and the leaves. So we're just going to kind of pile up a bunch there on the back side, and we're going to hill it up on the back side of the tank and behind the rock, and have it so that the rock is kind of protruding out of it just barely from the back side. So we'll get on that to start putting the gravel in. Alright, we now have gravel and air line. Now I may have to, I want to see if this thing will come through there without, I'd like for it to spread that out naturally if it will. So once I start getting water in here, then I turn that air on, and this here should clear that gravel away from it naturally and let it create its own path of least resistance and see if it works. If it doesn't, I might have to uncover it. But for the most part, I'm hoping that the bubble wall will come through the rocks with no problem and not disturb the rocks. But beggars can't be choosy, right? So I guess tomorrow we're putting fish in here. I wanted to show you what I did to the top. If you notice, we got plastic pieces glued down with 100% silicone, And we did that for a reason. If you remember, before, when I had a problem with it being fitting right, well, we solved that problem. And I'm gonna have to get a longer. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a longer one of those, so that won't fit on there. So we're gonna take this off and make us another one that will actually go down below that. This thing's a little aggravating to work with, but we need that thing down below the water apparently. So we're going to cut that right there. Good thing the scissors was where I could get them easily, huh? And then we'll cut that, and that will put the filter below the surface, or below this. So anyway, back to the reason I put these plastic tabs on there was this thing, if you put it in one direction, this here would be barely on the edge of this. Well, if you used to put something on top of it or lay your hand on it or something like that, it could tilt and fall in the water and cause you a lot of problems. So to fill that out, I put it in the center, and I had enough room to put plastic L brackets glued on with the 100% silicone, and then I had these little pieces that was left over from this, or these two, or the two that was cut off of each one of those. And what this used to be was the levers that, or the stands that sat on the fish tank, on the 10-gallon tank, to hold that Nikon or Night Crew. Why did I say Nikon? Night Crew light that the rods went through. So I just cut the ends off of it that the rods went into, and then cut one side of it off to make it an elbow, and then I glued it on there, and now see how good it fits? It's not going to fall. But I don't like these pieces of wood being separated like that. I don't know if they put some kind of special band around that before they put the wood on it, but I just don't feel comfortable with a rimless, and that's basically what this is, because these are cut, so there's no support there. So this has to be a rimless, but that's asking an awful lot of frickin' 29 gallons of water. Or asking a lot out of the glass to hold that 29 gallons of water, especially being this tall. Anyway, but we got that situated now. Now we can take our other filter and put it here, and that's going to be the command center, so to speak. I've got my air right here, so all I got to do is just run a piece from here to there, which I've already got run to the other one, just to plug it off. So, because I'm only using the one. This one here is just up there plugged off because I knew I was going to be putting another stone somewhere near it. So, anyway, next thing we get to do is put fish in it, water and fish. And what I plan to do with that is I'm going to go ahead and completely empty the 20 gallon that I have in the bedroom, and once I get half of it out and in here, I'll take the fish and put them in here. Then I'll go drain the rest of it and put it in here. I'll also take the actually, no, I'm not going to take the water out of the tin because I've been experimenting with it, and I think I'm just going to leave it as an experiment and get me another pump to put on it, and I'll fill the 20 back up because there's so much bacteria in that tank. I think it wouldn't take long for the water to get right. Of course, I got to get some fish for it. I don't know what I'm gonna get for the bedroom, but anyway, that's the plan. And we decided to go ahead and keep the crebensis with Jack and Jill because he's an aggressive fish, and I don't want him. You know, he's a cichlid. He's just a miniature cichlid. He's still got the same attitude, and I'm gonna leave him out of the community. I might get some neons eventually. Get a whole school of them, maybe about 20. That'd be cool to get about 20 of them. 10 would be the least amount I'd want in a school. But they run in schools, so they look pretty decent in here. Maybe a couple really pretty guppies so that everybody gets a snack once in a while, because she'll have babies and then everybody will get to eat. We got the gravel or the water yet to put in here, and the fish yet to put in here, and I got to make a hood for it, and I'm thinking I've got a lot of options. I think I got the hood taken care of, man. This here looks so good, I might not have to put a canopy on it. We'll see how it looks. If I can polish this glass up to make it look real nice and shiny, I'll get the light and we'll look and see what that looks like. Now we'll put our light back on it, and that's where we're going to glue her down. Now we got to think of one thing, that bubble wall. It's going to be putting bubbles up right about here. Alright, so we've got holes here and here. This one we're not worried about. This one here falls underneath of it. So is them bubbles going to hit in that hole and go up in underneath here? So I'm wondering if maybe we shouldn't put a little bit of something there to put over top of it. Maybe some clear tape. What I'll do, I'll just leave it so it sets there. If that way I can move it around. I'm not going to mount it permanently. I might find a happy medium or something where I can put this. It's pretty much waterproof. There's no water going to get past it once I glue it down wherever I put it. I'm not worried about there ain't that much water hitting the top of your frickin' tank anyway. If it's that violent, man, it's wrong. Trust me. If you gotta worry about your bubbles that damn much, you got too many and too hard. So for it to go through these holes and in that light and short it out, I'm pretty sure that's a long journey for that water to go. That water's doing some serious shit, man. Anyway, I think I'm going to quit on this tonight, and I got to move my timer over here for this light. I can't unplug it until I'm ready to put it somewhere, and that way it keeps it time and I ain't got to reset it. I don't think we're going to need a hood. I might make a little, maybe a little door right here that has a little knob on it I can open and put a hinge right here. That might be a possibility. Yeah, I can make a nice plexiglass one to put into place of that. So it would be all closed in and just have air vents. And then when you got a bunch of algae growing on your glass, you just take it, move your light off of it, take this off, take it to the sink, clean it, and bring it back in, and dry it off, and put it back. So it's going to be a pretty decent tank. I'm pleased so far. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of my new hexagon tank.